KSIZ, where the MSP comes alive. All right, we're back with you right now. And once again, welcome race fans. The great thing about this is that, we've got Ken Madden on the line. How are you doing out there, pal?
Oh, doing good. Going now out here at Road America in Elkhart, Wisconsin for the vintage racing. It's been pretty awesome right now.
Tell me about this, man. I mean, there's so many things that are happening with you. I mean, I saw a posting earlier that you were going to go out there and what are you doing some art with Mad K? I mean, what's this all about?
Well, a little bit of that, a little bit of networking and talking to folks that are race teams and things like that, trying to get some business. And it's been good so far. But mostly just on vacation here with my wife, and she'd never been to the track, Stacy, so we're here and we're enjoying ourselves, watching it. And we just finished watching the this group, I think it was Group 6, they call it. I'm not really familiar with all the racing classes, so I'm kind of an amateur at it. But Group 6 was what I came here to see. It was like the old Corvettes and Z28s and Trans Ams, and there was a Mercury Cougar, all kinds of really cool old cars. And these are, most people in the Midwest think about these cars as being like drag strip kings, right? Well, the Boss 302 and the Z28 Camaro and the Trans Am were all developed, the Challenger TAs were all developed to go road racing. And that's what they're doing here. And just to hear those big old V8s just wide open. And it had just sprinkled a little bit right before, so everyone was it was just a teeny bit greasy, so every corner was a drift, and it was pretty exciting to watch.
Well, tell us a little bit about the event. I mean, apparently there's a lot of different things that are happening with Road America, and this is just one of them. This is what called the Spring Vintage Festival, is this it?
Yeah, Spring Vintage Festival, and racing. It's like a racing series, but what's beauty because you're only 5 hours away from Minneapolis, so for home base, I'm a 5-hour drive away, so it's a weekend you can get away. And they do tons of events here. In a couple weeks or 3 weeks from now, they're doing a motorcycle event too, or the AMA Superbike races, and also the King of Baggers racing, where they race like Harley baggers and Indian baggers. The big bikes with the saddlebags and fairings and all that stuff. They're racing those things. So I think we're going to come back for that too. But and then they have the IMSA races, the IMSA, and various races all through the year. There's clubs that come in and rent the place out. There's driving school here. There's riding school for motorcycles. And it's cool because the track is just over 4 miles long, complete. And so all around the 4 miles is like fairgrounds, like campgrounds, and you can literally just drive anywhere and park anywhere. So, we stay at one place for 15, 20 minutes, maybe watch a race, and then we'll move to a different vantage point. And it's not flat either. That's what you look at it on the map. And, you go to Google Maps and look at it and go, oh, that doesn't look so great. Well, what you don't see on the Google Maps are these incredible elevations and super high hills and dives and these long sweeping curves. It's pretty amazing. And, one of the straightaways are almost a mile long, so these guys get really flying. It's really awesome to watch.
Well, I'm sure it is, man. I mean, it's got to be a nice experience for you to get away on such a fabulous, weather-related day. I mean, the sun is out. Is the weather the same in Wisconsin right now?
Not quite. We got a little bit of, it was overcast right now, but it's kind of a spotty overcast, so it'll sprinkle a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's not even enough to get the ground wet, but it'll sprinkle a little bit, and then the sun will come out for a minute, and then it'll go away again. And it's like 63 degrees. And little breeze. So one of the vantage points we went to, and I took a ton of pictures, because one of the things I'm doing here is trying to get images to use to create some artwork, some racing-inspired artwork. So I've taken hundreds of images. And one of the places we went was, it's way at the top, the highest point, around turn, let me tell you, it's around turn 6 and turn 7. If anyone's checking it out online, you can see the map. But it's a real high elevation. You can go way up top, so you can see almost the whole, a real huge part of the track, probably a mile worth of track. And there's curves and hills, and they come into that curve real kind of hot, and then they just can it, and just go around the sweeping curve. So then they start sliding. Who was that slid out? We saw that one guy slide out. 2 guys actually slide out, didn't we? There was an MG that slid out, and a Mercury Cougar slid out, and there was a BMW that spun around too, and a Porsche. It was a Porsche 917, I believe. But we're sitting here, and so here's the tell. The other thing about this down here, Paul, I'll tell you and me we like people and people times and community, and the community down here is awesome. So we're sitting there last night at our hotel in Plymouth, Wisconsin, which is about 3 miles south of the racetrack, and this guy had come in, and he was from a team that has they run Porsche GT3s and Ferraris. And one of the Ferraris, we watched it as it broke down, and he came in, and it was like, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and the track closes at 5:30, so they were there working, and his hands are all greasy, and he's like, this is the Ferrari team owner guy, right?
Yeah.
And he was in there putting in, he says, we melted a set of headers, so we had to get a new set of headers in there, and that's why I'm all grubby. He was all embarrassed that he was grubby. I'm like, dude, don't be embarrassed about that. That's the coolest thing ever. You own the team, and you're in there, working on the motor and putting on headers, and then they came out and broke again today. Something else went, did a fuel problem. But so the guy was in there, and one of the guys at the restaurant that recognized him was like, hey, you want us to bring you some breakfast tomorrow? He goes, oh, that'd be great, but I get up there at 6 in the morning, and the hotel we're staying at makes these gourmet breakfasts. And Stacy's sitting there. She goes, I'll bring you breakfast. Hell, we're going up there anyway. I'll bring it to you about 8 o'clock. So we got up, and we had breakfast at the hotel, and they're like, let us know when you're about to leave. We'll cook a hot meal for the guy, and we'll take it up to him. So we brought him hot breakfast and went up there, and we were good luck because they came in second place in their race.
What?
So they're one of the Porsche that he ran, that his driver drove, came in second place in the race that they were running. So we were able to watch the race and enjoy it. And then we just happened to be up at the winner's circle when they were giving away the awards, so we had to talk to him a little bit more. And so we're gonna have a cocktail tonight, I think, him and I. And
that is so cool, man.
So fun.
Yeah, you're in the hotel and you run into this guy, and it's like, wait a minute, man. Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you do, and all of a sudden this relationship blossoms, and they come in second place. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So I've got some pictures of that, and I'll post those up so people can see them. I'll send you some, and actually that when you put up a post saying that we were going to be on together, because everybody, this was an impromptu thing. I called Paulie this morning. I'm like, hey, let's do a live thing if you want. I'm available, and so he jumped on us. This is kind of cool. But I put a post up. It's a picture of his car in the winner's circle, so it's kind of neat with the helmet and the trophy and stuff on top.
That's cool.
But the folks here are great, and I tell you what, the weekend, the whole weekend, we bought early, like a month ago. We bought tickets. Paulie, it was $45 for one person for all the weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. $45 was all it was. So you can really do this reasonably. You can come down with a family; it would be really reasonable. It's really family friendly. There's kids around. There's lots of places to hang out and do things, and I recommend it. I think everyone should come to the races. You don't have to be into cars even to enjoy this, because you're just outside. There's people everywhere. There's vendors and camping, and the fact that there's really loud race cars running around all the time is pretty awesome too. So.
Well, the different types of venues that are coming up. We're talking about cool programs. One is called Level Up, whichever one, from the 17th to the 19th. And you got the basic rider course from the 17th to the 20th. I highly recommend to simply go to roadamerica.com, because you got 4 miles of fitness, Motorplex Open Track Day on the 19th of May. There's a lot of things. The Kelly Moss Road and Racetrack Day, private track rental, basic rider course. So there's a lot of things to do, and it's not that far. You said 5 hours?
Yeah, about 5 hours. And there's another thing they do here too, because they have an autocross and a go-kart track. So the same weekend, they've got kids. Some of these kids look like they were 7, 8 years old on these super fast little go-karts on the go-kart track doing autocross racing go-karts. And so there's probably, I would say, 20-acre area of just trailers and families all together with their kids and their go-karts, and they're all race suits. It's all safe and professional. And these kids are just having a ball. So that's all going on too, all in the same kind of area. So you can sit there with on this perch that I was talking about, sitting up high. We were watching off to one side of it, the go-karts, and off the other side of it, then the muscle cars flying by. And there's some Formula cars here. There's the F4, and I think there's F3, and those things are flying. These are like Indy cars, basically, for anyone. They look like the Indianapolis 500 kind of cars. and they're just screaming by you at 18,000 RPM. At 150, 160 miles an hour. It's just, and they're 20, 30 feet away from them. It's really, really cool.
That is cool, man. I mean, we're looking at some other things. It says get on track. Once you get to the roadamerica.com, basically it says there's Drivers Club, there's a morning drive, there's a sunset cruising, pace car hot laps. That sounds cool. Karting Club, which you were just probably talking about. Supermoto. Yep. Motorplex, track days. I mean, how big is this place?
Well, it's so the track itself is 4 miles. So I think it's. I'm going to make a couple of guesstimates. I think it's probably like a mile and a half tall by maybe a mile wide, like the whole area. So think about that. That would be. It's got to be 4 or 5 square miles here, of at least. Of just area, because you're driving around. It takes you 15 minutes to drive around the track on the outside.
Wow.
Just in the car, and a lot of mini bikes and stuff. But it's enormous. I mean, it's absolutely enormous.
For all of our listeners, this is kind of like a pop-up interview. Our friend and co-host on Mondays. Ken Madden, just texted me and said, "Hey man, I'm over at this really cool event. We thought we, just pop up and, into your device and say, hey, look, this is what's happening. 5 hours away from Minneapolis St Paul, you can get to a really cool place called roadamerica.com with all of these different events. So would you recommend that the hotel that you stayed at to our listeners?"
Oh, absolutely. It's called the Fig and the Pheasant, and it was a hotel that was built in the 1890s, and it's been a hotel all of its life. And some people bought it 2 years ago, and they kind of rejuvenated it. And it's called the Fig and the Pheasant, Plymouth. But if there's places to stay all the way around here. I mean, there's tons of things to do, and there's lots to do. I mean, yesterday we ended up going into Elkhart Lake, and we went to some of the shops and some art stores out there, and there's actually a art gallery that I'm going to be creating some work for.
Wow.
And it's just a cool area, and everything has kind of a little racing feel to it. But it's a great area. It's a great time. I recommend it to everybody, and at least once this summer, get down here and do something at the racing, because we got to keep this alive.
How large is the population there? Do you know?
Honestly, I got no idea. It's a smallish town. A small Midwestern town. I mean, I would say, 10,000, 20,000 people maybe.
Tell us a little bit about those pictures that you've been taking and that you're going to be posting. I mean, you're looking at inspirations here to do something in the studio for yourself?
Yeah. So if you think about the pictures are kind of like the racetrack images from the 60s, and the advertisements and stuff, that kind of like wild, almost psychedelic kind of some the paintings and advertisements for races back then. You think Carroll Shelby and Smokey Yunick and Zora Arcus Duntov and Mario Andretti, and that world and that kind of style of artwork back then. I wanted to come to this. This is an old track. It's been around for forever. And just kind of get a feel for that with some of these old cars, and get pictures of them sliding into a corner and, really hitting it hard. So I can have some reference material when I do my artwork, so I have something to look at that I created. I mean, I can certainly go online and find pictures of anything I want. You can do that, but it's not the same as capturing the picture yourself and then being able to create it, recreate it, and manipulate it how you want. So some of what I've done is just going to turn into photography. Maybe I'll do some prints or something. Other parts of what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn into paintings and drawings. So it's just been a real inspiration. And some of it's just taking pictures to take pictures. And I took a bunch of videos, and I'll put those up too, and we'll tag you guys in it so your listeners can see it too. A bunch of different vantage points, a bunch of different races. There's been MGs and like that kind of, Austin Healey's, and that kind of stuff too. So that's been really cool. Triumph TR6s, in Porsche 911s, the old Porsche 911s, even the 356s and the 914s, all these crazy cars that you never see anymore. They're just gone off the road. So watching them come out here and race and go out and flog them around and slide them, it's pretty awesome to see.
That is so cool. Jimmy Simon is now emailing me, and he says, tell him where can he find out further information about your studio?
So it's MaddK Studio, MaddK Studio.com. You can find me there, or any social media platform you can think of. Basically, I'm on there. Not TikTok yet, but I'm looking on getting on there. I'm gonna have to figure out some weird dance videos or something. But, but maybe you can help me with that, Paul. You give me some Hawaiian dance music, and I'll get out there and do the boogie. But MaddK Studio on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm on, and you can find me there. And yeah, drop me a line sometime, and especially if you come here, I'd love to hear stories from Road America. There's people up there that have stories of this place from the 50s and 60s. And, I'd love to hear some of those stories.
The Paddock Shop. I'm looking at roadamerica.com right now, and they've got a lot of stuff here. I mean, it's really cool. The graphics, that they have on their website is incredible. I'm also looking at something that says here, paver orders for fall installation. What do you know about that?
Paver order? Oh, because you can order the pavers at there's a area where like the winner's circle there. You can buy a paver and put it in there with your name and stuff on it, the company. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the Paddock Shop's pretty awesome. We've been in there a few times and bought some stuff. Just a lot of really neat things. And there's a guy in there, and I should know his name, but I don't slip my mind. But he's an author. It's written a bunch of automotive books, and he's there signing books and selling his stuff. And it's just a good time. It's a big place.
Man, I'll tell you what, you go to some interesting places. What was that other bed and breakfast that you went to? Our first pop-up. It was a cool place. You and Stacy said, I had it. I'm getting out of town. It was somewhere else. I don't know if it was Wisconsin or Iowa.
It was in Red Wing. It was, what was the name of that place in Red Wing? It was like the Moonshine Inn or the Moon. I can't remember. We've been here for 3 days now. Our minds are just frazzled from doing stuff, and I haven't even been drinking.
Oh boy, don't, man. You know what? If you're looking for inspiration, that's not the way to go. I mean, I love, and when you're looking for something, and you're focusing your direction, you have direction. I think getting out there and taking those pictures are paramount for you because you're an incredibly creative guy. I met several other artists just recently, and it's like blasé. It's like, wait a minute. Madden has got something. He's always moving. He's got things that, he's going into different directions. He's focusing on here, but he's thinking, he's got 20 different other things that he's doing. Like, all right, I'm going to reinstall a motor 45 times tonight with two friends of mine. And we need other inspiration like the 12-pack of beer first. Okay, so wait a minute. But it's so cool that, you're always moving. It's like, God, what else can he do? It's like, wait a minute, he's a musician. He's a designer of motorcycle parts. I mean, what else can you do, man?
Well, I can't balance a checkbook. I can never remember to take out the trash.
Yeah.
I couldn't pay a bill on time to save my life. So, like, there's parts of my brain that don't work, and that's why I need my amazing bride to be able to. I wouldn't be able to survive without her. Because, yeah, I can be creative. That's something I'm good at. But, when it comes to regular living life and adulting, I'm not very good at it. I need reminders.
I don't know if I could be your wife, man. It was like, oh, my God, now what? Wait a minute. We got a whole car in the living room. What's going on with this? Hold it.
Yeah, that's happened. That's happened. She did lay down the law at one point and said, all right, no car parts in the house.
We've got car parts in the bedroom. Wait a minute. We've got to do something about this. Something's wrong.
That's right. You have to draw the line somewhere.
Oh man! For all of our listeners, this is such a pop-up conversation with Ken Madden, who's visiting roadamerica.com. Road America is the name of the place out in Wisconsin. 5 hours away. Is it west, south, north, east? How far from Minneapolis? And which direction would they be going?
East. Pretty much due east, a little bit south.
Okay.
So it's almost to the big pond there. Let's see, it's near like Fond du Lac and Sheboygan and all the other good town names. So Elkhart, Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, it's all kind of the same area. Ripon.
Wow. I'm gonna have to, get out there maybe one of these days, and
Yeah.
I love things like this. But within the last year and a half, it's hard to travel, and since
Right.
things are starting to open up now, loosen up a little bit, restrictions have been raised, and it's time to to get out. And
Exactly.
I'm really happy that you and Stacy were able to get out there and recharge the batteries and see something like this and have some fun before you come back in and it's back to work.
That's true. So with that, I guess I'm going to leave you. We're going to go and do some stuff here.
Okay.
But thanks. It's always been a pleasure, and we're going to talk Monday morning, so I can give you a recap of whatever we haven't talked about yet today.
Absolutely. I'll see you on Monday at 8:15. Thanks so much, pal.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
absolutely. Yeah.